Hello, to those who have taken the time to read or respond to this in the future. I don't really know what brought me here. I ran across some of these stories posted to YouTube, and I guess this will be a great way for me to vent some of my pent-up frustrations out. Since I'm still, due to financial complications, stuck in my situation. Now please forgive me if I start to bounce back and forth or ramble, but I will try to stay on point. I'm going to paint this picture as true and unbiased as possible. Let me start by saying that in my life, every girl I've ever met had hurt me in one way or another, from my mother to my cheating GF and everyone in between. I met my GF 15 years ago on the job at a restaurant we both used to work at. Her a hostess, myself a server. She had just moved to the Bay Area, California, from Connecticut. We shared the same friend group as everyone in the group worked at the restaurant. So obviously we started off as just friends. Now let me pause here to tell things true about myself. I'm no angel by any sense. I have done a lot of wrongdoing in my life in my past and even in this relationship, but I consider myself still to be a very good guy. Back to the story at hand. At some point during our time being just friends and coworkers, my mother, who had been diagnosed with skin cancer, passed away. Now I want to take the time to say that I had already been taking the fact that my mother was dying of cancer this entire time hard. Even though I covered it up with a smile, well, I was using sex as a coping mechanism, sleeping with pretty much any female I wanted to, which has never been hard for me because I'm honestly a very attractive man, and I have always known that about myself. But that's a story for another time and place. After my mom passed, I was losing myself mentally and wanted life to end honestly. I had been abandoned by my mom at the age of 3, raised by my abusive alcoholic father and stepmom, whatnot. Yes, my mom came back a few years later, but losing her again broke something in me. Because it was for good this time, I knew. I only said this part so people reading will understand my mental mindset at the time. I literally lost myself in meeting females to use them to take the pain of my mother's death away. This is how I met the mother of my children, not the cheating GFBTW. My baby mama became my fiancée, and that was great until it ended because of lies and had told her about myself. No, I wasn't cheating. Yet I had painted an untrue version of myself in her eyes to get her. Now, the only real reason I bring up the baby mama is to give context that not only was I not perfect, but this is where my cheating GF comes into the scenario. For this is about the time things changed in our friendship. I fell on hard times big time, not only because of depression, but because of random living situations and a fake friend from the job I met the cheating GF at. I was bouncing around from house to house renting rooms, within none of them being stable for me, not because of me not being able to pay, but because of drama from the people renting the room to me. The last was the fake friend who pulled a knife on me over a phone bill. This is the same ex-friend who actually tried hooking me and my cheating GF up together. I initially resisted for multiple reasons for a long time. Not only was I stuck on the idea of trying to fix the relationship with my baby mama, but I wasn't physically nor sexually attracted to my cheating GF. I don't want to seem shallow, but if one was to see the two of us together, they'd wonder why I'm with her, that I am settling and can do better. Now I'm only talking physically, because she's not in shape, and I'm not fat shaming. I'm just telling it true. Now, as a friend, she was one of my best friends at the time. She was there for me and helped me through the pain of losing my mom, which still hurts over a decade after. And after my fake friend and ex-roommate, you forgot to mention that, pulled the knife on me, she let me move in with her, because I was going to be sleeping in my car otherwise until I found a place. A couple years passed with me trying and failing to repair the relationship with the mother of my kids, one biological and one not. Yes, I'm a good guy, as I stepped up for her eldest child who's not mine and continue to do so to this day. As I said, I'm not an angel, but I'm a good guy. But eventually one thing led to another, and I allowed myself to start sleeping with my friend who I knew wanted something from me that I didn't, even though I told her from the beginning that us dating was a bad idea and would ruin our friendship. Eventually, we ended up together. I don't know if it's because I had given up on myself in life and settled for what I was given, or if it's because I thought maybe I'd find true love finally if I didn't go for a girl based off of appearance. Looking back, I know that I shouldn't have ever slept with her, but I can't change the past and admit that I was dealing with my own demons. Now, before I get too much further into this than I am already, let me give information on when things started to go bad. Before we even got together officially in the first place, while we were just friends, and I was crashing at her house after the knife incident with my friend. She was low-key dating a married coworker from her second job while I was trying to fix things with my baby mama. Eventually, sex got involved between me and my friend who I'm now living with. And I demanded if she wanted to be serious with me like she was claiming when she said things like, "I'm only staying in CA to see where things are going between you and I." That she'd have to stop seeing the other guy. Let's call him the asshat. Now she eventually got pregnant. She said it was by the asshat, but I have a suspicion it might have been mine. But she got an abortion. The day she had the abortion, he, the asshat, and her female best friend, came back to the apartment, and for some reason her best friend came into our room to keep me company and cuddle spoon. Is she the cheating GF? Not my GF yet though. Let me clarify. Was in the living room on the couch crying and sobbing on his shoulder. This pissed me off cause I had made myself clear where I stood about the asshat. So I took her friend home, and we hooked up in sex for 3 to 4 hours before I left to go smoke weed and get high with my best friend at his house. Many months later, after me and the cheating ex-girlfriend had gotten a new studio apartment together because she had issues with our old roommate, it's expensive in the Bay Area. After going to work and coming back early because the restaurant me and my BFF, the one I was getting high with, now worked at, was having a slow night. After getting dropped off, I came to the door, which I did not have a key to yet, and started knocking. Now, after no response, I heard noise from the inside and quickly realized it was her having sex with someone. I started beating on the door for at least 25 minutes. Eventually it opened, and it was none other than the married asshat standing in front of my face. I guess neither had heard me because the radio was on too, but I was livid. It was then that I decided I could never truly trust this woman. Time passed with her trying to convince me it was over between him and herself, but I never believed her. For the simple fact that every time I told her to end her friendship with him, she'd hit me with the line, "You can't choose my friends for me, BS." Red flag, men and women can't be just friends in my book, especially if they have sexual history. Maybe long distance, but no face-to-face contact. It just doesn't work, because men want to sleep with women, and women want to procreate with men. More time passes and eventually I change jobs multiple times. Needing something to more steady because I have 2 young children, I'm still being a father to with my ex-fiancée, even though she's getting married soon to the next by this point. My cheating GF helps get me a job at the same place she works. A very well-off private school. Yes, the asshat works here too. But at the start, we're all on separate campuses, so it's no biggie to me. Eventually, we move into a bigger apartment. 2 bedrooms because I by this point am tired of taking a Greyhound bus round trip for 2 hours each way every Tuesday just to see my children for 2 hours. So not only do I get the bigger apartment, but I also buy a brand new car. Well, newish for it was a 20-year-old Mustang, but only had 36K miles on it. Now by this time, I'm thinking things are going great as can be expected considering everything we've been through. Yes, she's shown me unloyalty multiple times now, but I wasn't an angel either. But I thought things were getting better. Eventually, towards the end of my first year at the new job, they transferred me to the lower school campus. And lo and behold, my immediate supervisor is none other than the asshat. Great. LOL, he from day one offers me to work and run the snack bar program on campus, which means I'm an 8-hour employee instead of a 6-hour, which since I have children to support, bills to pay, I accept. Not knowing that he had his own interests in giving me those extra hours so he wouldn't have to work them any longer. But I'm not even thinking about the red flag because he hasn't been an issue in years now. As he's not allowed into my house, and for a long while we had a female roommate that I got used to being there. Eventually, when the roommate who also worked with us quit, I kicked her out because it was time for my children to have the room that was intended for them. Well, long story short, my cheating GF never trusted me and always went through my phone and my space at the time if I didn't log out off my computer. She somehow knew my password too. She saw other girls texting me inappropriately even though it was innocent on my end, with nothing inappropriate coming from my direction. But yes, girls were sending me nudes and saying things they wanted to do with me unsolicited. I don't know why I even entertained it enough to keep them on my phone or inbox. Ego maybe. But she found out and was pissed, saying during sex with me, how if it happened again, I'd regret it. There were other red flags, like how she wanted to break up with me. Her asking me to move out of our apartment when both our names were on the lease. But I refused. Because I wasn't going to be homeless again. I wasn't going to sleep in my car again. I had done that before and wasn't going back to that. Eventually, I thought things were getting better because she was acting normal again. How wrong I was. One day my neighbor asked me if I had another roommate. I didn't. He explained another guy has been coming by, and I immediately, from the description given, thought it was our GF and myself, mutual friend. So I missed that red flag. A few weeks later, one night, she goes out with a female coworker of ours. Later that night, as I go out to walk out Puppy, I notice a suspicious SUV sitting in the middle of the street, in front of our apartment. As I cross the street in front 15 to 20 feet in front of the vehicle that has its lights on, I start looking to see who's inside because I think I recognize the vehicle, even though it's late at night and dark. Now my eyesight isn't the best, but the car looked exactly like the asshat's SUV. My boss, that guy from every time she's been unloyal before. And it looks like they were kissing. As I cross the street again slowly to get a better look, it's obvious they've taken notice of me now and can tell I'm angry. When I get inside, I immediately get my phone and call her to blow up on her. She answered mad that I'm blowing things out of proportion. Big time gaslighting me basically. And since I couldn't see for sure what I thought I saw with the headlights on, I couldn't fully dispute her. But I knew I'm not stupid. I know what I saw. Weeks pass by. By this time, my friend, the neighbor who I share a driveway with, who asked me if I had any roommate, had placed cameras in his window facing my front door, and another one facing the street using his next-door neighbor's place. Since that other neighbor was an elderly man, he helps with random things all the time. It was an issue for him to accomplish. The reason he told me was that people were coming in and trying to steal things from his backyard area, that he wanted to try and catch them, which I took as legit because my neighbor sells many high-end vehicles and parks them on the street and in the back area. But apparently he really did it for my benefit, and I did not know it, because he had tried to tell me what was going on but wasn't able to get the message across with words. Well, weeks later, after he had had enough of her making a fool of me, he came and gave me the evidence while we were smoking in his carport, telling me I don't like to get involved in other people's business, but since we're friends and spend a lot of time together here, I can't stand by and not show you this. Apparently at least every other Friday, even other work days, since I get my kids every other weekend. On the weekends, my kids aren't around. And nights when I'm out visiting either my brother or my best friend who lives an hour away, my boss has been coming over while I'm still at work, leaving before I get off since he writes my schedule, and coming back if and when I left again, staying with her behind closed doors for hours, walking my dog with her, bringing alcohol into my house. I hate alcohol, and drinking with her in my house. I'm beyond livid now. He sends me emails, copies of the videos, and I immediately confront her, which she tried to lie away, saying he's coming over to explain work-related training things since she's being promoted to management, which she was. But that doesn't explain why he's in my house, behind closed doors. I now show her the video footage briefly. Knowing she's caught, she changes her story, saying yes, she effed up, but did not do anything as bad as I did. I responded with I didn't get physical with anyone, that they were contacting me, not the other way around, that I wasn't caught doing anything improper, that I wasn't cheating. She attempted to say she hadn't cheated, that he was only helping her by being there for her to talk to about our problems. I then told her to Google the term emotional cheating and read it out aloud in front of me, which she did, and immediately she became less argumentative. I went to the room to collect some things cause I couldn't stay there for a while, had to go for a drive. She tried to follow me to stop me in the room, trying to hug me, crying for forgiveness, saying it's not what I thought, that she didn't cheat. I told her that I knew she was lying, for the simple fact that she had so much history of being caught with him already, that I know she was lying. She held firm to this lie for 8 months. Until I lied to her, telling her that the video has sound because my friend's camera was a spy camera that picked up audio vibrations from the window. She finally immediately confessed, telling me it only happened 2 times after she already lied and said it was only once. I knew that was a lie. I knew because my neighbor told me it was at least 7 months he was showing up. Now, unfortunately, even though I still live with her because I don't have the financial means to move and still provide my children with a room of their own, not living in this area, not while I'm paying child support to their mother, supporting both children while they are with me, supporting myself, I have come to realize that she's never going to change and that women can't be trusted. She says she has no contact with him outside of work emails now, but I know that's a lie. I know because he texted her one night after she got home drunk as EFF. And the text relayed the message they had been together because he knew she was drunk, him asking if she got home safe, saying he's never been this drunk before. I also went through her phone cause she gave me the password trying to win me back. Saw his number is deleted and no texts to him. I checked her messages to her BFFs, and in there she spilled the tea. How just 7 months ago she was going to hang out with him probably. So yeah, I don't deserve this. I'm no angel, but I deserve better. I have now been on dating apps, dating and sleeping with other women, because unfortunately for the next 4 years I have to live this miserable apartment just to be able to give my children a semblance of the life that they deserve while with me. I refuse to go back to renting a room and traveling multiple hours each way just to see them a couple hours a week. I deserve more. I won't go backwards, but I won't forgive her either. So I will continue to see and sleep with other women now just to find a sliver of happiness for myself until I no longer have to be here, or until another woman is willing to live with me. But I'm probably too broken for that now. Well, that's my sob story. Thanks for listening. Feel free to give me any advice. Just remember, I really am stuck here for 4 years or until my name is first on the waiting list of apartments my job owns.